Israel launched an airstrike on Lebanon's capital. Yemen attacked Israel, and Erdogan compared Netanyahu to Hitler. How does the Lebanon-Israel conflict impact NATO and the entire Middle Eastern region? Hi, this is Ilya Brizhak. Let's talk about it. The escalation of the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah has reached a critical stage. Recently, Israel launched a massive strike on Beirut. According to preliminary data, the target was the commander of the Hezbollah Air Force, responsible for air defense and drone operations. As a result of an Israeli airstrike, 3 floors of a high-rise residential building in Beirut were destroyed. At the same time, 8 border posts between Syria and Lebanon were attacked, the stated purpose of which was a convoy with weapons. However, experts believe that the main goal is the destruction of civilian infrastructure. Israel also attacked Hezbollah's headquarters in Beirut. Israeli media claim that the target was Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah. As a result of the attack, 6 high-rise residential buildings were destroyed. It was the largest Israeli strike on Beirut since the 2006 Lebanon War. Sky News Arabic, Saudi TV channel Al Hadath, and the Iranian edition of Tasnim News reported that Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah is in a safe place. However, the press service of the Israel Defense Forces officially confirmed the murder of the Hezbollah leader. Lebanon has acknowledged Nasrallah's death. Israel's military operation in Lebanon has been dubbed the New Order. More than 1,100 terrorist sites and targets were destroyed, as well as more than 10,000 units of Lebanon's missile arsenal. More than 500 terrorists were eliminated and more than 1,600 wounded, including Hezbollah's spiritual leaders, the entire military leadership, and about 50 officers of the Radwan forces. Israel has closed schools and restricted gatherings in many northern areas of the country and in the Golan Heights. Local residents take shelter in bunkers. Meanwhile, the wives and family members of Hezbollah leaders arrive in Iraq on private jets, while the people of Lebanon are forced to live on the streets. Israel has also announced preparations for a ground operation in Lebanon. However, high-ranking Israeli officers have noted that sending troops into Lebanon to fight Hezbollah would result in massive casualties. Therefore, this option is considered too risky. Meanwhile, Israel continues to carry out heavy strikes on Lebanon. How is the world reacting? The Chinese embassy in Israel has urged Chinese citizens to leave Israel immediately. The UK government is advising its citizens in Lebanon to leave the country as soon as possible, using the nearest available flight. According to the French foreign minister's statement at the UN Security Council meeting, France and the US are preparing a 21-day ceasefire plan to negotiate a resolution to the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah. A Reuters source reports that Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah has stopped communicating following Israeli strikes on Hezbollah's headquarters in Beirut. In Iran, volunteer recruitment for the war against Israel has been announced. The head of the Committee for Supporting the Palestinian People's Islamic Revolution, Mohammed Hassan Akhtari, stated that in the coming days, recruitment will begin for volunteers wanting to go to Lebanon to fight Israel. He mentioned that Iranian volunteers are ready to attack Israel from Lebanese and Syrian territory. In Brussels, Hezbollah supporters held a demonstration at Luxembourg Square with slogans like Nasrallah, strike Tel Aviv, and Hamas, we are here for you. In Idlib, people are celebrating Nasrallah's death. Sweets are being distributed in Syrian cities. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov declared that Russia strongly condemns Israel's actions, which violate Lebanon's sovereignty. The Turkish Foreign Ministry warned that we may witness a regional war, and Israel must stop this madness, which is being supported by the West. Sky News Arabia reported that French diplomats also called on the Lebanese government to pressure Hezbollah to resolve the situation at the Israeli border. Reports suggest that on September 24th, a delegation from Turkish and Qatari intelligence arrived in Lebanon, possibly to exert influence on Hezbollah. The U.S. in turn has deployed additional forces to the Middle East. Biden stated, "The elimination of Hezbollah's Secretary General is an act of justice for his many victims, including numerous Americans, Israelis, and Lebanese. Israel has every right to defend itself from Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other groups." Here's a statement from Israel's Prime Minister, quoting, "For those who still don't understand, let me clarify Israel's policy. We don't wait for a threat, we attack it. Anywhere, on any front, at any time. We eliminate top officials, eliminate terrorists, destroy rockets, and this is just the beginning. Whoever tries to harm us, we will cause them even greater harm." The situation is indeed complicated. Experts say that if the parties do not reach a ceasefire in the coming days, the conflict is likely to spread across the entire Middle East, primarily affecting Iran and Syria. Turkey and other countries may get involved in different capacities. A few days ago, Turkish President Erdogan traveled to the U.S. to participate in the 79th session of the UN General Assembly. Along with Erdogan, a large ministerial delegation from Turkey flew to New York. On September 24th, President President Erdogan addressed the assembly for the 14th time and stated that he is closely monitoring the rise of hatred in countries where Turkish citizens live. He asserted that hostility toward Islam should be recognized as a crime. Erdogan urged world leaders to restrain Netanyahu, comparing him to Hitler. He also stated that Israel threatens regional peace. The recent attacks on Lebanon and Israel's latest statements are a clear sign of efforts to spread the war across the region. Before Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's speech, the entire Turkish delegation demonstratively left the UN General Assembly Hall. Several other countries' delegations followed suit. However, since Turkey is the only NATO member from the Middle East, the most important message from Turkey at the assembly was likely Erdogan's discussion of disagreements with the West. He emphasized that Turkey's disagreements with the U.S. administration regarding national security remain unresolved. He also noted that, regardless of who becomes the president of the U.S., Turkey's view of America will not change. In other words, Erdogan made it clear that Turkey intends to align more closely with the East. There is no question of choosing between the East and the West. Turkey's goals of joining the SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and BRICS are not a game but a serious step. Regarding Turkey's independence from the West, it's evident that Erdogan's policies have gone too far, surpassing many nations, including the U.S. and Russia. American media reports suggest that Turkey's rejection of U.S. hegemony has become the biggest problem for Washington, and Turkey is well aware of this. How is this conflict spreading across the Middle East? Last night, Yemen's Houthis launched a ballistic missile towards central Israel. Air raid sirens woke up all cities in the greater Tel Aviv area. The missile was successfully intercepted by the air defense system just before reaching the center. After the interception and the fall of debris, sirens and explosions were heard. It's clear that Israel's operation to eliminate its enemies and their weapons in Lebanon could escalate into a larger conflict. The only question is when and how everyone will respond. Reports suggest that Yemen, Hamas, and what's left of Hezbollah are already preparing for a counterattack. We are expected to receive more detailed information in the coming days. To prevent a large-scale conflict, the U.S. has deployed a military contingent to the region. The European Union, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar have also joined the call for a ceasefire, stating that the expansion of the regional conflict is in no one's interest, not the people of Israel nor the people of Lebanon. Meanwhile, Turkey's president declared that under the current circumstances, the issue isn't about a ceasefire, but about using force to restrain Israel. One would think that Turkey, being close to the conflict, wouldn't want this escalation, but this is the stance that was taken. Austria expressed displeasure with Turkey's actions, particularly Erdogan's comparison of Netanyahu to Hitler. Why is the West closely watching Turkey's reaction? First, as mentioned earlier, Turkey is the only NATO member from the Middle East. Second, Turkey has made significant progress in domestic weapons development in recent years. This year, Turkey became the world leader in drone exports, surpassing China. Moreover, Turkey is quickly advancing in this field. Recently, they successfully tested their first drone equipped with a guided bomb. A kamikaze drone was also introduced to other countries during field tests. This drone has already entered mass production. And for those who don't know, all Turkish drones are designed to be unusable against Turkey. Furthermore, Turkey has admitted it could use these drones against those who purchase them. As Turkey gets more involved in the Middle East conflict, it is becoming increasingly well-equipped. Additionally, Erdogan has demanded that the government and businesses accelerate the process of reducing reliance on Western imports. He aims to lessen foreign dependency in the defense industry and avoid needing external help in this area. Given the exploding pagers in Lebanon, this demand seems quite logical. Recently, Turkey also successfully tested its domestically developed air defense system, the Steel Dome, similar to Israel's Iron Dome. According to the head of Turkey's defense industry agency, the project provides long-range and high-altitude deterrence capabilities. It's also noteworthy that outgoing NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg stated that 2% of GDP is no longer sufficient to ensure the alliance's security. He remarked that the more funds spent on defense, the more effective the deterrence and the higher the alliance's security. In his speech, he emphasized that European continental security is impossible without Turkey in the south. And Turkey, again, fully understands this. Therefore, we can conclude that, first, the Lebanon-Israel conflict is likely to spread across the Middle East in the near future. Second, it will impact Turkey primarily by accelerating its militarization. And third, despite being a NATO member, Turkey will pursue its own interests. It's still unclear whose side Turkey will ultimately take. Let me know what you think in the comments. Check out Boosty and Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.